Legendary director Rob Reiner and his wife Michele are being remembered by those who knew them best. Their fans, friends, and family are mourning after the couple was found dead in their home in Los Angeles. Hi everyone, I'm Tram Mai with your headlines in the news now. One of the couple's sons has been charged with murder. 32-year-old Nick Reiner made his first court appearance on Wednesday and did not enter a plea. The judge didn't allow cameras to film him. In court sketches, he appeared to be wearing a thick blue vest. He's been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. His lawyer called the deaths a devastating tragedy.
There are very, very complex and serious issues that are associated with this case. These need to be thoroughly but very carefully dealt with and examined and looked at and analyzed. We ask that during this process, you allow the system to move forward in the way that it was designed to move forward, not with a rush to judgment, not with jumping to conclusions, but with restraint and with dignity and with the respect that this system and this process deserves and that the family deserves.
The next court date is in early January. A judge ordered he be held without bail. The charges he faces carry a maximum sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole or the death penalty. This case has sent shockwaves throughout Hollywood and the entire country. Jen Sullivan has more details on what we know.
It's a case that's sending shockwaves throughout Hollywood and the nation. Filmmaker Rob Reiner and his wife Michele Reiner found Sunday brutally murdered inside their home in Brentwood, a suburb of Los Angeles.
This case is heartbreaking and deeply personal, not only for the Reiner family and their loved ones, but for our entire city.
The man police say is responsible is one of the couple's sons, 32-year-old Nick Reiner. Authorities say he used a knife to kill his parents. He's now charged with 2 counts of murder and a special allegation for using a dangerous and deadly weapon.
Prosecuting these cases involving family members are some of the most challenging and most heart-wrenching cases that this office faces because of the intimate and often brutal nature of the crimes involved.
Nick Reiner had been living in his parents' guest house at the time of their murders, according to someone close to the situation. The family has been open about Nick's past struggles with addiction.
It was known to us and known to other people who were close to Rob and Michele that Nick had a substance abuse problem.
Nick Reiner has previously talked about his numerous stints in rehab, his personal story inspiring him to co-write a film in 2015 called Being Charlie. His father directed it. During an interview on AOL's speaker series Build, Rob Reiner said the project was, quote, the most personal thing I've ever done. While many around the world knew Rob Reiner for his iconic films, a true Hollywood great, those close to him say he was simply a great friend.
More importantly, we lost a human being with compassion.
I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
The couple's 2 other children, Jake and Romy, released a statement on Wednesday. They said, quote, words cannot even begin to describe the unimaginable pain we are experiencing every moment of the day. The horrific and devastating loss of our parents is something that no one should ever experience. They weren't just our parents, they were our best friends. They went on to say they're grateful for the condolences and support they received and asked for privacy, compassion, and humanity. They want their parents to be remembered for the, quote, incredible lives they lived and the love they gave. Rob Reiner is considered one of the best American filmmakers of all time. His movies include classics like A Few Good Men, When Harry Met Sally, and The Princess Bride. Stephanie Elam takes a look back at his life.
I've often said, no matter what happens to me, I'll always be, I could win the Nobel Prize. It'll say Meathead wins Nobel.
Rob Reiner needn't have worried. Yes, he was known for playing Meathead on All in the Family, but his career had a remarkable second act as a successful and versatile film director. From the mid-'80s to the early '90s, Reiner had a phenomenal run directing a diverse range of films. He practically invented the mockumentary with his musical comedy, This is Spinal Tap.
If you can see, the numbers all go to 11.
There was the Stephen King coming-of-age story, Stand By Me, and the modern fairy tale, The Princess Bride.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
and the classic romantic comedy When Harry Met Sally.
Yes! Yes!
Which had that famous line delivered by his mom, Estelle.
I'll have what she's having.
Another Stephen King adaptation, Misery, earned an Oscar for leading lady Kathy Bates.
It's for the best.
While his military courtroom drama, A Few Good Men, had this famous exchange between Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Rob, son of TV comedy pioneer Carl Reiner, found it a challenge to step out from his father's shadow.
Getting in the door is important, but having staying power and being able to sustain a career at least on the level of or exceed your famous father or mother is very, very difficult. I mean, you're under an enormous pressure and scrutiny.
He first earned fame in his own right as the liberal Mike Stivic on the groundbreaking 1970s TV sitcom All in the Family.
They just don't like the idea of America fighting an illegal and immoral war.
Well, if they don't like it, they can lump it.
Stivic's arguments with his conservative, bigoted father-in-law, Archie Bunker, were a hallmark of the show, as they debated politics, social and cultural issues through comedy. The show earned Reiner 2 Emmy Awards.
The subjects you took on and the way that you approached them, and we're talking the 70s, were unheard of in television at the time. How much resistance did you all get from CBS?
Tremendous resistance. At first, when the show first came on, they had a huge disclaimer that preceded the show. It was basically, the show doesn't reflect the views of the network, blah, blah. Basically, it was saying, we don't know how this show got on.
Like his All in the Family character, Reiner was passionate about progressive candidates and causes. He supported Democratic presidential candidates and was an advocate for free preschool education. Reiner would occasionally step back in front of the camera for small roles in films like Sleepless in Seattle.
Tiramisu. What is tiramisu? You'll find out.
Rob Reiner was a character in his own right, with an enduring body of work that reflects his generation's humor and passion.
Some of Rob and Michele Reiner's closest friends released a joint statement that includes Billy Crystal, Albert Brooks, Martin Short, and Larry David. It said in part, Rob Reiner not only was a great comic actor, he became a master storyteller. There is no other director who has his range. From comedy to drama to mockumentary to documentary, he was always at the top of his game. Former President Barack Obama also released a statement. It read in part, Rob's achievements in film and television gave us some of our most cherished stories on screen. But beneath all of the stories he produced was a deep belief in the goodness of people and a lifelong commitment to putting that belief into action. On Jimmy Kimmel Live, Michelle Obama said she and Barack were supposed to see Rob and Michelle the night they were killed. They're longtime friends. She also defended them after President Trump called Reiner deranged. Trump posted this on Truth Social, saying Reiner's death was, quote, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his incurable affliction with a disease known as Trump derangement syndrome. The president doubled down when asked about it in the Oval Office.
I wasn't a fan of his at all. He was a deranged person as far as Trump is concerned. I thought he was very bad for our country.
Reiner had been an outspoken critic of Trump. The Reiners were also major Democratic contributors and champions of several political causes. Trump has faced backlash over his comments, including from several Republicans who called it wrong and disrespectful. After the break, I'll look at Rob and Michelle's love story and why he said meeting her inspired him to change the ending of When Harry Met Sally. Flowers and a small memorial sit on Rob Reiner's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Fans have stopped by to pay their respects. Many have also been stopping at Katz's Deli in New York. That's where Reiner shot that iconic scene in When Harry Met Sally. Photos from the film still hang inside the diner.
I met him a handful of times here at the deli, and every time I try to get to talk to him just for a few minutes, he was just a super nice guy.
Kind of similar to me and my wife, who kind of met each other, didn't think anything was happening, all of a sudden became best of friends, and they fell in love.
It was on that film set where Rob met and fell in love with Michele. He said meeting her actually inspired him to change the film's ending.
The original ending of the film that we had was that Harry and Sally didn't get together, because I've been married for 10 years, I'd been single for 10 years, and I couldn't figure out how I was ever going to be with anybody, and that gave birth to When Harry Met Sally. And I hadn't met anybody, and so it was going to be the two of them seeing each other after years, talking, and then walking away from each other. I met my wife, Michele, who I've been married to now 35 years. I met her while we were making the film, and I changed the ending.
Reiner once called himself the prototype for Harry and said he didn't think he'd find love again after his divorce until he met Michele. She was a photographer, producer, and actress. They had been married for 36 years. He was a passionate sports fan and each summer visited a different baseball stadium. In 2007, he stopped in St. Louis, and our station there interviewed him. Let's take a look back at that conversation.
Baseball hero growing up.
Well, without question, Willie Mays. I mean, I was a New York Giant fan. I was born in the Bronx. You were either a Yankee fan or a Giant fan, or some were Dodger fans, but they were from Brooklyn. And I love Willie Mays. I mean, he was my idol.
Most athletic actor you've worked with?
Billy Crystal is one of the most athletic. He's a wonderful baseball player. He was an all-city shortstop when he was in high school. He and I played on the same team together for 5 years. We won a couple of championships. He was second baseman. I was the first baseman. Coney Island Whitefish, very famous team. So I would say he's probably one of the best athletes.
Most impressive stadium you visited so far?
It's all the retro parks that I've seen. The beautiful, I love PNC Park in Pittsburgh. I love now it's AT&T, used to be Pac-Bell and SBC in San Francisco. I like Miller Park. And this park, I got to say, is right in there. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous.
What stadium's a dump?
I hate to tell you, but Comiskey Park in Chicago, to me, is my least favorite. Also, the Oakland Coliseum. It's not meant to be a ballpark. It's basically a football stadium they play baseball in.
If you're in the stands when Barry Bonds breaks the record, what would you do?
I would actually be thrilled. I mean, I know he's gotten a lot of bad raps recently, but I'm a huge Barry Bonds fan. To me, he's a great baseball player, one of the greatest players that ever lived. The man has 7 MVPs. He's going to have probably close to 800 home runs, and he's a great all-around baseball player.
Where would you rather be, a World Series game or the Academy Awards?
I'd rather be in a ballpark than any place else in my, aside from my family and my home with my wife and children. But at a ballpark is when I feel most comfortable. I'm most happy. The minute I walk into a ballpark and I see the green and the stands, I'm absolutely in heaven.
He took that tour of baseball stadiums with his son, eventually visiting all of them. Well, that does it for us today on this look back at Rob Reiner's life and how so many people will remember him and Michele. I'm Tram Mai. Thanks for watching.